when things were going well, I used to laugh at preppers, thinking, what are you preparing for? 18 volts across the battery terminals. I don't know about that. Is it set up for 24 volt batteries? What's going on? Now, I noticed a lot of people are in the comments talking about how it is that I cope with this ridiculous situation I'm in, and how that compares to, well, the very high suicide rate and men that haven't been able to cope with this. And my friend Simon of the Blake family explained it like this, because that job, for instance, that I got, I thought, right, I just won the lottery ticket, right, I got a £300 a day computer contract, I'm back to where I was 2 years ago, it's all good, right? And then now 0 hours, and they didn't give you anything to do, so you don't get paid, even though you were hanging around for a week wondering if they'd get back to you and all that. You know, you stayed sober, got up in the morning. Yeah, so what Simon of the Blake family called it was a reframe, when I managed to twist that reality around into a frame where it appeared like, hey, the dole is, what, £300 or £400 a month? If they just pay me for 2 days' work every month, I'm quids in. Obviously, it's pointless going to all that hassle for the same money as dole, but if they pay me 3 days a month, then that is like a whole leisure battery, you know, a whole month's food, front brakes. I mean, you've got to see it in the real terms, that, you know, the true value of money. And it's like, for the past 14 months, well, I mean, for me it was a personal disaster, so I was living like, well, because a disaster had actually happened. Yeah, my own government had turned on my industry and destroyed my livelihood. And that's coming to everybody real soon. And worse than that, if the are what the dissenting doctors say they are, go to BitChute and find out, or don't bother and just get yourself into it, and bye-bye, I miss you already. Yeah, but the good thing about, say, learning to live in Wales out of tin food, just drinking and bathing in streams, is that, you know, when the end does come, the end game, I already know what to do. But how many people will all of a sudden start fleeing the cities when things go nuts? The thing is, there'll be people ceasing to remain alive, under the cover of an Indian wave, and they'll what will populate that Indian wave will, of course, be the jibber jabber ceasing to remain alive. And can you imagine that then, when it's all burning and people are looting supermarkets, and maybe hyped up by a bit of race riot, although race riots are hard to do in Britain, because basically everyone's cool with who everyone else is, but that's not the case in some countries. Could be an extra conflagration point. So whoever you are, have your plan ready. Have at least a tin of beans and 20 litres of water in your car. and blankets and spare clothes, just half the boot, and that's all it takes. So when the time comes, you're out of there and you can survive the worst part of it, which I believe will be the first 2 weeks of when hell breaks loose. When things were going well, I used to laugh at preppers, thinking, what are you preparing for? Everything's hunky-dory, the land of milk and honey. Wow. And then it came my turn to be destroyed. And I prepped like real quick. 2 days. Make sure you're ready now, because I don't think you're going to have the luxury of even 2 days to know where you're going to go, who you need to assemble quickly, how you're going to get out of where you are. But the trick is to see it come in, not react after the event. Right, that's enough doom and gloom for one day. Now I'm going to get back to enjoying my freedom, which was never taken away from me at all the last 18 months. Ha. Oh, I can see the Marlborough Downs from there. Maybe I better read these. Yes. Oh yeah, I'm off-roading in my little 4-cylinder front-wheel drive dog van. The trick is, right, 5 miles an hour, first gear, don't touch the pedals, keep going, don't have any torque, acceleration or braking, and you'll get along just fine. You can see why people paint watercolors. Wow. How can you even paint that? But they do. Mountains behind mountains behind mountains. Forests behind forests. Mist and cloud in layers. That wasn't a poem, I just made that up. That's how nice that view was. So prepping isn't something you have to think about all the time. It's just a contingency to consider. A worst case scenario that if it comes to it, you have to survive. Have a bit of a think, get ready, and then keep your ear to the ground. You'll know what you have to do when the time comes.